Welcome. My name's James Edge. I'm the Marketing Manager at CompNow, and I'm just going to do a quick little introduction for you around this webinar, which topic for today is Adobe Sign. So Adobe Sign is part of the productivity suite of apps and solutions that Adobe have, and we'll be looking at it today mainly as an education style usage. But all of the things that we're going to show today are just as usable in small to medium, even enterprise scale businesses. We'll just be looking at it through the education lens. So during the webinar, we're going to have some of our Adobe experts online as well to help with any questions. So if you've got any questions, large or small, please feel free to put them into the chat window, and we will the Q&A function, and we'll get them answered. And if we can't get them answered during the course of the webinar, we'll do the follow-up over email. Today's webinar is being recorded, so we will send that afterwards. So hopefully after you've had a look at Adobe Sign with us, it'll pique your interest, and you can share that video with other colleagues and stakeholders inside of your school. So after my introduction, we're going to be watching a short video which is around an implementation of a school with Adobe Sign in New South Wales. And then Jane, one of the Adobe Solutions Consultants, is going to talk us through a little bit around that particular implementation. And then we'll be joined by Matt, also from Adobe, and he'll be taking us through the presentation and demonstration of Adobe Sign and how you can use that. So one thing to note, CompNow, we're a Adobe Platinum reseller. So that's the highest status that Adobe awards to resellers. And what that means is that we have extra access to Adobe support specialists and professionals for helping implement solutions. So we can make sure that the customer experience, in this case, your parents, your staff, your students, that's paramount and takes center stage. That's what we want to get out of the Adobe Sign solution for you and your community. And then the other important thing just to quickly note is the fantastic integration that Adobe Sign and all other Adobe products have with the Microsoft suite. So if you're already using a system of form collection where you might be using some Microsoft products, Adobe Sign can be a perfect adjunct into that, so that you're not changing your workflows in a large way when you start to implement, and then you can grow and evolve with the product as you see the different benefits that come from using Adobe Sign. Okay, well, what we'll do now is we'll just jump into the video. And again, if you've got any questions, pop them into the Q&A. So we'll have a look at this case study, and then we'll be passing you over to Jane from Adobe. Thanks very much.
Sydney Grammar School is a school for boys. It's right in the middle of the Sydney CBD. On the site, we have about 1,200 boys. It's a school for excellence. We really are educating our boys to learn how to learn. In fact, I knew very little about it. I'd actually used Adobe Sign a couple of times with other suppliers where I signed contracts electronically. The good thing about that is that I wasn't aware that I was actually using a vendor's product. It was so simple and easy to use. We're just right at the beginning of using Adobe Sign, and we've set up a number of Adobe Sign documents ready to go. We're actually planning to use it in lots of different areas. Our sports department, for instance, has a number of online for venue management, for timesheets, for match reports, and we want to simplify the process for the coaches entering this sort of information. We want to create forms for subject data entry for the timetable. We want to use it in a lot of administration areas, especially in the employment process and the onboarding process, even in our job applications, where applicants will use an Adobe Sign form to actually make their application. In fact, it's really very simple. We set up the single sign-on that we have with Microsoft, and that took less than a couple of hours to get going and be successful. I think other schools should actually really try to look at Adobe Sign. It's an incredibly easy product to use. It integrates really well with Microsoft Office products. It creates forms very simply. It's a great management. It saves time, saves them money. I think it's a product that every school should really start to look at. Well, one of the things I think schools should realize is the investment Adobe have actually put into this product. They've not only created a fantastic product, they've actually put in resources such as yourself, Jane, and Jerry, and a whole crew behind making sure the implementation of this is smooth and goes well, and they've been incredibly responsive. It's a great pleasure to work with them.
Great, thank you. So this is a video about Sydney Grammar. Sydney Grammar obviously is one of the top schools in Sydney, New South Wales. So this video was taken just before they actually put some of their forms into production with Sign. So right now they are big users of Sign, which they use it for such as short local excursions or overnight excursions. Anything that require parenting approvals or signatures, as well as things like application for long service leave, appointment requests, or even sports venue bookings and so on. They've used it extensively across school. There's a lot of use cases. If anyone wants to know more about it, please feel free to contact me after the session. And then now I will pass it on to my colleague, Matt. And he's going to go through a demo of Adobe Sign and show you where that can be used in your organization.
Thanks, Jane. I might get you, Jane, just turn your monitor off, because obviously we're getting those on the screen. We've got the dual screen going.
I know, yes.
And I'm just going to wait for Tom to share my screen. Jane, do you want to just let me know when you can see my screen at all?
Yes, I can see it now.
Beautiful. Is it full screen?
Correct. Great.
Great. Okay, excellent. Okay, Adobe Sign. So today we're here to talk to you about Adobe Sign. So Adobe Sign is part of our Document Cloud platform. Our Document Cloud platform consists of Acrobat, Acrobat Pro and Standard, and the free reader. Also has the service Adobe Sign, which we're here today to talk about, and other applications across mobile devices like Adobe Scan. These also come with services. You're going to see some of these today, and also we have APIs available for those, and that's a conversation for another day. Okay, Adobe Sign. So what is Adobe Sign? Well, Sign is our platform used by organisations all over the world, government, education institutions, commercial entities. You can digitally transform your document execution processes and workflows to become fully digital and, more importantly, offer a better customer experience across mobile devices. The keep business moving and route electronically, and this is really good in this day and age from working from home or working contactless. So it's become very popular, and you can sign securely on any device. And as the video you can see on screen here, it really is built for modern workflows today. Send documents out, transact those on mobile phones and document devices, and then return from whence they came. Now, in here, we'll talk about security, legal and compliance, and they're going to be very quick here because we've got some white papers. So Adobe Sign's been around since 2005. Adobe bought it in 2011. So for the last 9 years, we've been evolving it to become the product it is today. 8 billion signatures last year. That has grown exponentially this year, but I don't have the latest numbers. And we have an Australian-based data centre. So data residency is here in Australia. So 3 actives up in Sydney, but more importantly, it's 3.2 times faster to load on someone's device when you're sending documents out. Now also too, we meet all the big standards, ISO 27001, SOC 2 Type 2, and other things like GDPR. So we've got white papers and all this. We're trusted, we're Adobe, now the second largest software company in the world. Is it legal? We'll talk about that. Is it secure? Yes, it is. Now, to be legal in Australia, we've got the 3 I's. There's the integrity, which is identity recommendation. We've got integrity, the reliability of the document. Is it intact as of time of signing? And then the intent to consensually agree to sign digitally on a device. And you're going to see that in my little quick demo. Now, as mentioned, we've got white papers and all this stuff. Please feel free to ask CompNow for information around these, and we can send these out, hours and hours of reading. Okay. Now, when we talk about Adobe Sign, it's only senders, managers, and admins of Adobe Sign need to have a Sign seat or license attached. This is good for 2 ways. Number one is that people are permitted to send out contracts or things to be signed on behalf of your school. And we can secure those with single sign-on, talk about that in a second, and you can use a variety of ways to use the service, whether it's a laptop, web application, integrated into a system. I'm going to show you a couple of those. Use your mobile phone, or you might use a web browser. It's up to how you do it. The good part is its own recipients require only a modern browser on something. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, on a device, they can actually sign, and it's only those senders, managers, and admins that need a seat. Okay, now with Adobe, we can also employ single sign-on, which is important these days for security and also a must for in the education space. So Adobe has 3 user identity types. So we've got Adobe IDs, enterprise IDs, and the one that most is popular with our customers is our federated single sign-on. Now, if you'd like to talk to CompNow about this, we've got the enterprise account that you can access as well. And this means that all of your Adobe, including Adobe Sign, can be managed from a single sign-on environment. So just check with your rep and they can come back with all the information on that. Now, when we talk about a signing process here, here's a typical contract that will be sent out. This could be hiring a teacher, could be hiring a contractor, etc. It involves 32 steps, and 15 of those typically involve paper. Now, in this COVID environment, face-to-face processes aren't looked upon as nice anymore. In fact, they're frowned upon, and we have personal distancing and isolation in effect. So how do you get your stuff done? Well, that's what we're here to show you today. So we can actually help you do the whole process. So create a PDF using Acrobat, put it into a collaboration review with Acrobat, or you might want to use the Microsoft platform to do that with PDF services from Acrobat. Then we kick it over the fence to be signed by one party or multiple parties, signing a single document or multiple documents. And then the last 3 steps we can automate once that signing process is complete. Typically, we can get this whole thing down to about 7 steps. Make PDF, collaborate, execute. Now, let's do a demo, but I'm not going to do a demo at this point. Let's talk a little bit further, and I'm going to do a demo from somewhere else. Okay, so one of the things with Adobe Sign is it's a platform. It's about 70+ integrations with line of business systems in here. So if you're working in Workday or SuccessFactors, you could be a service desk using ServiceNow. You could be using Salesforce or Dynamics as your CRM. You could be using workflow tools like Nintex, or you could be using other lines of business systems like iCertis and others in there. So there's tons of places we do exist. But the big one is really around our partnership with Microsoft. So Microsoft being the largest software company in the world, Adobe is now number 2 as of March of this year. Now that partnership over 3.5 years has yielded some nice fruit. And that means we're the preferred e-signature platform across the entire Microsoft portfolio. And we've been busy. We are talking about the entire Microsoft portfolio. So let's have a look how that might manifest itself. And then we'll look at a little bit of a demo, how easy it is to sign. The first thing is I can sign from SharePoint. So if I put the Adobe Sign for add-in on the SharePoint tenant and someone has a seat of Adobe Sign that they can log into, then they can send out contracts or forms on behalf of your school. Very easy to do. I can send for signature. I can manage my agreements from within SharePoint. I can look at check on the statuses of those. I can change any library templates. So maybe change the year to next year, and also other settings in here for where documents are stored inside of SharePoint. Or I could send from Office 365. So I could send from the desktop versions of PowerPoint or Word. So make up my Word file, send it out for signature, add my signature blocks in there, add in drop downs, text fields, etc., and send it out. Or I could send out from Office 365 online. So PowerPoint or Word online, I might have my document sitting there. I'm working remotely from home, especially here in Victoria at the moment, and I'm able to conduct business from my home using this service. Or I might use Outlook. So here, put the Outlook add-in in, and then what I can do is send things out. But typically with Outlook, you probably use it to check the status. Where are all these contracts? Why have my teachers signed? How about all these 150 students? Have we got all the waiver forms back in because we're having a sporting event or a carnival, or there's a new school year starting up? And the big one here is Microsoft Teams. So we're the only one with the integration into Teams, and this is where I'm going to start my demo today. So here I am, I'm going to log into the online version of Office 365. So here on Office 365, I'm going to click on the Teams icon and I'm going to go across to Adobe Teams. Now in here, I can go into my specific channel. So this is where my team work. Under here, the launch team, under General. Now what I've done here is I've actually pinned Adobe Sign into the channel itself because we're approved to send contracts on behalf of the school. Now here, I got my posts. Someone's going to give me a notification, need to get a contract signed. Okay, great. Let's move over to Adobe Sign. So instead of me going to Adobe Sign, I bring it into Teams or into SharePoint or into Word where I need it to be. So over here, it all comes through. So let's do this. I'm going to sign first. Then I'm going to have this person sign second. So it's going to be my particular new hire teacher. What's their role? Are they a signer, an approver, an acceptor of terms, certified recipient, a form filler, a delegator? Then I'm going to add my template all from my computer. I'm going to add this in. So there we go. We'll take a dual sign one there. I'm going to attach that. Now I could add signature blocks, but this is already ready to go. It's a template. And I can set a reminder, maybe every business day. And even though we're multicultural, even though the contract's in English, I could send the UI out in one of 32 different languages. So for my Chinese students or Japanese students or teachers, etc., I can send the contract out in their native tongue, which makes it easy for them to sign. That's it. Let's hit the send button now, and away we go. Now, I'm going to actually sign first, and I'm not going to leave Teams. So the sign service goes all the way over to Sydney, and it comes back with my message. So over here I can say, please review and complete this. Options are, I could decline to sign, I could actually clear the document out, or I could delegate to another person if you allow delegation. But in this case, I just want to sign it. So over here, I'm going to click to sign. It's remembered my signature, but I could use a system font. I could draw it with a mouse stylus or pen, but in this case here, I've chosen to use an image of my signature. Over here, I'm going to put in my title. So I'm going to be the CEO, and I'm going to put a phone number in, and we're going to mitigate some risk. Notice that was an 8-digit number or a 9-digit number for a mobile phone, definitely not a 10. 10 is naughty. Okay, once we're done, that's it. Down the bottom, I'm going to agree to sign electronically. I click to sign, and what that does, that correlates to one of those 3 I's: intent, integrity, and identity. So we just intended to sign digitally. So under the Australian 1999 E-Signature Act, I now have signed a legally binding document. Now out in the world is my customer, and what I can do is I can manage it from this particular point. So I can see it's out in progress on there. I could actually change the recipient. I could cancel it. Lots of things you can do when you're managing all your agreements. But out in the field is the person who needs to sign. So first thing they're going to do is come across and they're going to receive an email. Now we can brand this with all your school's details, headers, footers, the text within, a whole branded experience. Now I'm going to click to review and sign, and all I require is a modern browser on something. I don't require proprietary software. So I'm going to choose Safari because I'm on an iPad. It's going to redirect, and what's going to happen now is Adobe Sign is going to push the template to me, and I can only play a role in what you permitted me to do. So in this non-disclosure agreement here, I put out my name. So over here, I'll be Frank someone. That'll do fine. Click on the next button. We're located. I'm located here. Moving down there, let's fill this out. So my title here could be I'm a teacher. I'm going to be used as a freelance teacher there. Here's my phone number. Once again, expecting 8 or 9 digits. And I'm going to click here to sign. In this case there, same principles apply. I could use a system font. In this case, I've drawn with a mouse stylus or pen. I apply that, I click finish, and then what happens now, I tap to sign electronically, and guess what? We are now done. So this file is going to go through and it's going to be in my manage section. So when I come back into Teams, if I update this and see what's waiting for me, nothing's now in progress, but under completed, we now have that signed contract ready to rock and roll. So a nice little way there of working with Adobe Sign from within the Microsoft environment and making it very, very simple to use. Now, there's also more. So coming soon, you'll be able to do a live signing via video conferencing on Teams. So we could have a chat like we are today on Teams. I could push a legally binding document to you. I could see you on the other side of the screen. We could have a little bit of a chat about that, and then we can actually sign it in an in-person signing experience. This is really cool if you've got that one-to-one things and you want to talk. Really good for HR, really good if you want to talk to people. And also too, a lot of people like to automate. So we've got over 45 different pre-built Adobe Automate or Power Automate templates here. Send from SharePoint, take the file back as a JSON file, map metadata to a SharePoint list or a SharePoint library. Lots of things you can do, or you can actually use Power Automate to go through and do that. Next thing here is, after Power Automate, is there's many ways to use this for your school. We can sign, we can fill forms, we can approve, we can accept, we can be a certified recipient using mobile devices, contactless, transparent, and fully digital. And there are many ways to use this here in your school organisation, whether it's general activities, student services, HR, procurement, and other areas in your school. If any of these resonate with you, Jane and I are happy to answer some questions, and your CompNow reps are happy to talk about it. And then lastly, let's talk about sustainability. We've only got one planet to live on, and I care for mine. How about map your resources? How much paper are you using? What can you save? Perhaps you've got a sustainability budget that could afford this. Or you might want to show what you've done with digital transformation. A great way there to show some positive results, and we all need to lift to be sustainable. Well, thanks for that today. I'm going to pass back to James. Over to you, James. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Matt, for that presentation and on Adobe Sign and the demonstration as well. As you can tell, Matt has a huge knowledge around Adobe products and Adobe Sign. So like I was saying at the start, as a Platinum reseller, CompNow have access to all of the solutions consultants from Adobe, and we're very keen to come out and help you with integrating Adobe Sign into your workflow. So if you've got a paper-based form system, or you've got a send, print, scan, return loop going on, these are the sorts of places where you can pick up fantastic time savings and cost savings by bringing a secure, legally binding form system into your environment and really improve on that customer experience at your school. There's just a couple of price points that I wanted to just show you. So there's many different ways to buy Adobe Sign. It's a very mature platform, but here's a couple of popular ones. You can either use a single user per annum, which might suit a business manager or a commercial manager doing contract style documents, and the other one is where you purchase an amount of documents. So that's you can use on consumption, sort of like a site license, where you can have different levels for different people in the organisation using the signing platform for different reasons. So medical forms, excursion forms, all the way through obviously to contracts for staff. And the other one I just wanted to mention as well was just around the Creative Cloud while we're talking Adobe. So there's fantastic K-12 pricing per student per year for those schools that want to give that Creative Cloud experience to their students and staff. And so that's all the regular Photoshop, InDesign, Dreamweaver, all those products that we know and use day in, day out. And also there's Acrobat DC, the very mature PDF editing and creation platform that's there and available on a per license basis. But I guess what we really wanted to get from today was get your minds thinking around how you could use Adobe Sign. It's obviously been a year for it, where we're doing a lot of things remotely. So we're available and would love to talk to you and your school about how we could implement those. And so if you've got any questions around that, or you'd like some follow-up, we'll obviously send an email afterwards, or you can put a question in the chat. We'll be around just answering those as well. And again, we'll be sending this out as a video to everybody that registered, so you'll be able to see it there. So I'll finish up the webinar now. So thanks for everybody for joining us, and I hope you got something from today's webinar, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks very much.